Okay. I guess I have been speaking and my sound was not it. But now you can hear me. I guess you can hear me now. Please confirm you can hear me. Kindly confirm you can hear me. Can anybody hear me? Can I continue? Can we get started? Okay. Please confirm. I see Gift here. Hello, Gift. Hello, wonderful. Hello, Chialuka. Chialuka, welcome. That's Chialuka from uh, the Sparkling Kids TV. Welcome. Dr. Summer Reed, welcome. I see you. Okay, good. You can hear me. All right, so we get started. All right, so you guys, we already have this is like part 3 of our series where we talk about how to write a web novel. And today we're going to be talking about how we can do that using AI. Yeah, so just to reiterate everything that we have said before, AI is basically a tool that helps you make your work faster. It does not think for you. You are the author, you are the thinker. It's your thought pattern, it's your thought process that you get to bring alive through AI. Okay, so you are not necessarily outsourcing your thoughts, to the AI. The AI is basically working for you. I have to repeat that because a lot of people feel like when they have the AI, it makes them lazy. No, we are not talking about that. We're talking about you will have to still do the due process. You will have to still do the due diligence. Okay. You will not outsource the process to the AI. AI does not manufacture anything from out of space or out of the ordinary. It does not think. You are the one who thinks, you are the one who creates, and then the AI basically processes what you feed it, and gives it back to you. So I had to start with that. With that said, let's jump right into it. Okay, so this is going to be an interactive session. I want you to feel free to ask me every question. I know that a lot of us have started writing for different platforms already. So you can share the platforms you're writing for already in the chat. Introduce yourself. You can even share like synopsis of already writing so that those who are interested can check your books out. And if you haven't gotten signed yet, hey, not to worry. Let's talk about the challenges you're facing right now, especially writing with AI. What are some of the challenges that you've faced? Okay, so that we can tackle it together. Okay, so today's focus for me would be mostly about building memorable and bingeable characters. Yeah, so we want to talk about how to build memorable characters because the truth is, your story is driven by your characters. Yes, web novels are dialogue driven, characters driven. It doesn't you necessarily don't have all the time for all those cinematic BS that we see on regular TV. Yeah. Web novels are like these micro dramas today. Basically, micro dramas are practically picking from your web novels, so they necessarily do not have that time for too much cinematic, all of that lovey-dovey thingy that you're expecting. Yeah, so it is fast paced usually, and it is driven by your characters. So how do you make your characters lively, interactive, alive, and bingeable? That is what we'll be talking about today. So who's excited? Let me see you in the chats. If you're excited, share your excitement in the chat. Use all the emojis, use all the love, use all the language. Let me see how excited you are to be part of today's class. And if you're just discovering this channel, hey, welcome. My name is Sandra Adeyeye Bello. I am popularly known as Sab. I am the founder and creative director of Sab Studios NG and also the founder of AI Filmmakers Network. We are a community for AI creatives. Yes, from script to screen, we take all your ideas and turn them into amazing projects using AI. Yes, so you don't need to bother your head. You don't need to be bothered about, hey, I have this amazing idea. I don't know what to do about it. Hey, join us, okay? Check all the links, the description of all our videos. You would see the link to join AFN on our WhatsApp community. Very easy, straightforward, and Yeah, that's it. Okay, so if you have any questions, feel free to ask us, and I'm excited to jump right into today's class. Okay, so one thing you're going to do for me as you watch this, please interact. I want to see all that you are learning. Please write it, type it, share it, let us all share. It's very interactive. I want it to feel like, yes, I'm talking to people. Okay, so always interact. Use that love emoji. There is a love symbol close to your screen where you chat, so you can just click that and express yourself. I would love to see that. And if you do find value here, there is a thumbs up at the top of the screen just under the name of this channel. Click it, and yes, I'd love that. And if you see new people joining, please remind them to click it as well. Okay, so yeah. Let's jump right in. Okay, so you guys, what's the first thing to create a memorable and bingeable character for your web novel? The first thing that I want to note here is, I know that it is really tempting to want to have multiple characters in your web novel. Yes, we all grew up with all those TV series where we saw lots and lots of characters. Yeah. But something that we do not, take note of is the fact that you cannot there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 characters maximum that you will get to remember their names at the end of the day. For example, let's take, the popular TV show, Batman and Joker, right? Please tell me any other character that you can remember their names. We remember Batman and we remember Joker, right? What other characters do you remember their names? What other character is spectacular in the Batman and Joker film? Right? Please tell me about them. Share with me in the chat. I love to have an interactive session, and I've told you I want this to be interactive. So feel free to interact with me. Tell me, when you watch your popular series, apart from the main character and the villain, who else do you remember? Probably 3 other characters, right? So I want to start off with that. Instead of focusing on trying to have multiple characters in your story, why not focus on just having 3 to 5 major characters? For example, in the Batman and Joker series, I think they have the Batman's girlfriend, who is it Batman's girlfriend, or I think that's Superman. So Batman has like his is it the Gotham City, the mayor? Is it the mayor of Gotham City, right? Who is another character, a splendid character. I can't even remember the mayor's name right now, but there is a mayor, right, in Gotham City. So basically, we now know that there is that middleman, right? We know Batman is the good guy, Joker is the bad guy, and then we have the mayor. Mayor is representing the right between the two worlds of the supernatural, conflict. Yeah. So these 3 characters. Now, any other character could just be probably Batman's girlfriend, then Joker's girlfriend. Then we have 5 major characters. Guess what? The whole story and any other character that comes in basically are lower, like they are minor characters. They are supporting characters. So what I want to start off with is, hey, instead of trying to create multiple characters, focus on building solid 3 to 5 major characters. What did I say? 3 to 5 major characters. So in your web novel, you want to make sure, because of course your web novel is driven by your characters. So make sure that your characters are interesting. Instead of trying to do 10, 15, 20 characters at the same time, focus on doing 3 to 5 major characters that are super exciting to watch. Like your whole series or your whole book of over 100 chapters will be alive with these characters, because every day they are still unraveling. Like they have so much baggage, they have so much beauty that we cannot get enough of them, right? Like the audience should feel like they now know them. The audience should almost predict, what is going to happen, what this character is up to. Like, oh my goodness, if it was this character, for example, there's a popular series called Empire. For those who know it, it's a musical drama, a musical series. And basically at some point the audience began to write the story with the crew for that particular series. Because why? They almost knew every character. You know what? You know Cookie, you know Lucius, you know Andrea, Andre, I think it's Andre. Yeah, you know Jamal, you know each of them. Can you see how I'm calling their names? Guys, I didn't just watch this series right now. I didn't just watch the series, but guess what? They took their time to develop each of these characters. Now, let us talk about these characters one after the other. I'm going to just stick with Empire for now because, yeah, I did binge watch it. It's very addictive. And yeah, it was really interesting. So I feel like that's a perfect example for us to talk about. So that when you are creating your characters, you actually take the time to build it. Okay, like I said, the AI will not do that for you. You are the one to do that, and then you tell the AI, these are my characters. These are the characters that I built. Okay, so how do you do that? For example, this particular series that I'm talking about, the Empire series, it's built around a family. A family. Now, the family is a family of 5, basically. A family of 5. The mother, Cookie Lucius. The father, Lucius Lion. Okay, Cookie Lion. The father, Lucius Lion. The first son, Andre. The second son, Jamal. The third son, Akim. Right? Now, let's run through each of these characters so that you can see how exciting. The characters did not come bland. They didn't come fake. They didn't come simple. They came with their baggages. Now, let's start off with the father of this family. The father of this family, number 1, was a drug dealer and a pimp. That is number 1. Right? That is Lucius Lion. Lucius Lion, the character, was a pimp and a drug dealer and the head of the empire. Right? He founded the Empire company. The Empire company is their music company, their music agency. Yeah, where they sign other artists and the rest. Right? So what does Lucius Lion, look at that baggage that they gave to him. He's the head of the music empire, yet he's still a pimp and a drug dealer and also someone who allowed his woman to take the fall for him. And then guess what? He now goes to try to marry another woman. That is where they now brought in a conflict, super conflict for Lucius Lion. He came with serious baggage. That was where they got Anika. Anika was now Lucius's second woman. Okay, now look at that baggage. Only one character alone has that. A lot of conflicts. Remember, we have played the what if before, so you must make sure that your character is super exciting. And remember, the family is a family of 5, right? And I just talked about the father. Now let's talk about the mother, Cookie Lion. Cookie Lion happens to be, guess what, the good girl that fell in love, but went to prison, went to jail for her lover, right? Cookie Lion went to jail for her lover because she was so in love and she wanted to prove her love for Lucius Lion. So she had to go to jail for him, and then spent 16 years to, while he was building his empire. I hope comes out, she would probably, be the queen of the empire, everything that she did for those 16 years, it felt like a sacrifice, worthy sacrifice for the man she loved. Guess what? Close to her coming out of jail, Lucius Lion served her a divorce paper in prison. Now, Cookie didn't just 16 years of her life, she lost the growth period of her children. Can you see that? A mother who had 3 children and her last baby, was taken away from her hand while they came to take her to jail because of a crime. She took the fall for her love. Can you guys see that? Now, these are interesting characters. Imagine how much you can build around her. And guess what? The series was built around this family. Now, that is for the mother, that is for the father. Now, imagine now building the first son. Guess what? Andre happened to be a bipolar disorder patient. He had bipolar disorder. That is the first son, Andre. A loyal, extremely loyal child who supported his father, even though his father was never kind to him. Yeah, he saw his father and his mother. He saw how they struggled, and he became the father and the mother for his siblings, his younger ones. But life still happened to him. Life did not go smooth for him. Life still happened that he had bipolar disorder. Bipolar disorder that is that terrible that even his father does not want to identify with him, because they are scared of him, that tomorrow Andre will sell our company. He might be the firstborn, but he cannot inherit the family's wealth. Why? Because Andre is impulsive. Andre is impulsive. He can decide, how impulsive he can be, that, he brings out a bat and beats someone in the open. He does, while he is so educated, but life doesn't just go as we plan. Remember, we have talked about this. This is where you do not make your characters straightforward. Your story must never be straightforward, right? Remember that. Now, why was that particular series addictive? That is what I'm breaking down for you. Number one thing, can you see that they formed the series around a family of 5? What did I tell you at the beginning? Make sure you have characters that are not more than 3 to 5 major characters. This series already understood the mission, and they created their series around 5 characters. So why are you now writing 10 characters, 20 characters? Right? 5 characters. So we have talked about the father, we have talked about the mother, we have talked about the firstborn. Now, how about the secondborn? Jamal. Jamal happened to be the music bone of the family. He took his mother's calm and patience, and he took his father's musical talent. And he's supposed to be the love child of his parents. But guess what? Jamal happened to be a gay child. Yeah, and his father could not stand it. His father detested it with every bone in him. Even though his mother was welcoming and tolerant, and probably she had already seen the change, the difference in a child from before, the father could not understand it. The father could not. So this child ended up, instead of being a love child, the boy ended up feeling the hate from his father. So his anger towards his father grew. He became an angry gay boy, an angry gay child. Yeah, an angry gay child. Can you imagine how distorted his life became? Do you understand? Even where your family is supposed to accept you and they do not. That is what this character, just look at that contrast. A black family with a gay child. Can you imagine that? That is conflict for you. That is conflict for you. I'm just giving you this. I'm breaking this down so that when you are writing your web novel, every of your character must be accounted for. What is the flaw of your character? If every of your character is pure and straightforward, you have not done your job. That is why I'm breaking this down for you so that you can understand. The so-called very addictive series that we are talking about, Empire, it did not come with sultry, amazing characters that were so pure and sensational and all lovey-dovey and their life was straightforward. No. Every one of those characters had something they were dealing with, an issue, a very strong issue that they were dealing with. Right? Now, we have talked about the father, we have talked about the mother, we have talked about the firstborn and the secondborn. The last character, which is the 5th character now, that is where the whole series now took another turn. Hakim. Hakim is the last born of the family. Now he became the rap artist. So Lucius Lyon, that's the father, was more of an R&B, singer, and Jamal took that for him. But because of Jamal's difference, he did not recognize Jamal as an artist, as a singer, as his son. He did not recognize him. So Jamal would usually just be fighting for his father's attention. Guess what? Hakim came and changed the dynamic, the music feel of their family. Hakim came with rap in his bone. Now, he took the hardcore of his mother's time in prison, and then he took his father's, because of course he grew up in the time when his father was already rugged, trying to set up his company. Can you see that the storytellers planned it? The same way that the person that Andre knew as his father is not the same person Hakim knows as his father. The person that Andre knew as his father was a struggling man, a struggling musician, a struggling man who allowed his wife go to jail for him because they were selling drugs on the street and they had to fund their lives. Right? That is the person that Andre knew as his father. But Hakim came when the music career already started booming, and his father was now CEO, was now seen riding in luxury cars, wearing luxury bling bling and so on. Hakim's vision of his father, of his parents, became luxurious. He did not see suffer. He did not see stress. That on its own is another problem, because imagine trying to convince this child that, hey, I know where I started from. You cannot come and mess things up. Their vision, this was completely problematic. Can you guys see the difference now? So while they have 5 characters, each of those characters had their own challenges while they were all interconnected. Remember, those who are on our workshop group, they all understand this. All your characters must be interconnected in a way, right? But it must not be, it doesn't have to be incestuous if you're not writing an incestuous story, because most times when you say connected, interconnected, sometimes you can get, if you don't explain it to your AI, it could get you something else, right? So you have to be deliberate about letting your AI know that, hey, this is how connected I want my characters to be. Now, what is the connection that Empire used? Empire used the connection of family, music. That is the connection that Empire used. So if you are creating your own web novel, what are the connections you can use? You can, for example, let's take the popular trope of like a billionaire. I know that's like the popular trope, right? The popular trope of the billionaire falling in love with like a janitor or something. That's a popular trope that we can always use, as an example. How do we make them interconnected? For example, when you're writing the billionaire story, yes, the billionaire has money, right? And I'm saying male billionaire now because we can always have a female billionaire, right? But let's imagine a male billionaire falling for a female janitor, or probably we can switch it up and say a female billionaire falling for a male janitor. That is all up to you, your conflict, your story, but it must follow the rule of interconnectedness. Where does your character, where would they meet? Definitely the only place that your billionaire, the very first place that we can think about right now is the office, right? Probably the billionaire is working late, or the billionaire decided to sneak in to one of his companies that, they don't know him yet. He just set up that company and he came undercover to learn how his people are behaving. If they are representing them well, then somehow him or she falls in love with the janitor, who is a he or she. That is up to you to decide, right? But that already said, we have established that this person is a janitor. We have established that this person is a billionaire. How can you contrast them beyond just their titles? You must give them a personal issue. The billionaire should be going through a struggle. Whether the billionaire is a kleptomaniac, right? We have seen that before from the royal family. You know how that thing was, that a royal family, a princess was a kleptomaniac. That was not something to be told or sold to the people, but that is a conflict on its own that made juicy headlines. That is what will make your story stand out. You must find a way to say, yes, this person is a billionaire. Yes, this person is a janitor, but they are also fighting their individual battles. So you must prove it. Prove the battle that they are fighting. Is the billionaire's money clean? Or is he like a puppet for like a mafia gang or something? That is up to you to decide. How do you want to tell your story? Every one of them must be fighting a battle. The billionaire, probably has only 3 years to live, and they're looking for an heir to inherit their wealth and so on. Right? Or has the billionaire been searching for a lost child for so long? There must be something that billionaire wants beyond money. They already have money. So what else can the billionaire be looking? Remember what we said about Lucius Lyon. They did not only give him one conflict. Only Lucius Lyon alone, that is the father of the empire, right? He was already a billionaire as at the time we met him. in the beginning of the film, he was already a billionaire. He already owned his agency, his music agency, his music empire. But guess what? He was still someone who was battling his past. He still had inferiority complex. He still had, like, he couldn't raise his kids well. He was not there for the raise of for raising his kids. He could not accept his kids, the difference in his kids. One of his kids was suffering from bipolar. The other one was gay. The third one doesn't even understand the struggle. That is a challenge that he was facing as a father. So even though he was a billionaire, he was struggling as a father. That is a real struggle. That is something you must build into your character. That's why I said your characters must be bingeable. How do you make your characters bingeable? Your characters must be bingeable because they have real life struggles beyond what you just say. Oh, I just want to write a trope, a story about a billionaire that fell in love with a janitor. Yes, we now know that's cliche. That is cliche. But how do you tell that story differently? Different from other people? Give your characters a real life struggle. Give your character a real life struggle. Imagine a billionaire that says, no, I don't want to even be I don't want to be called a billionaire again. I've seen everything, I've traveled everywhere, I have everything. And then probably they meet a janitor who is dreaming about the life they have, and they will be telling the janitor, see, it's not all that glitters that is gold. And the janitor says, let me even see it for myself. Do you understand? Imagine that conflict. The billionaire has seen it all. The billionaire knows everything. The billionaire is saying, no, I don't want to be attached to money. And then they go and meet a janitor who is saying, if I could just have 1 billion, I will show people. And they are asking the janitor, what will you do if you have 1 billion? And the janitor will say, there are so many things I would do. I will travel the world. I will do this. I will do that. Meanwhile, the billionaire has done every single thing in the book. So the conflict is, this person is dreaming for what this one has. The billionaire is busy dreaming for the small life that this one has. Like, you come home to your kids run to you and hug you and kiss you, and you cook food and you eat together. You're laughing. You can jump on each other. But me, I have all the money. My kids don't even call me. If I call them, they're too busy to pick my call. Right? That is a real struggle. That is a real human struggle beyond the money, beyond what the billionaire has. So you have to make sure that your characters have a real life struggle. Okay? So that is number one. That is how to create bingeable characters. Your characters must contrast each other. No duplicates are allowed. That's the second rule. So we have talked about 3 to 5 major characters. That is, now we are heading to the second rule, which is do not duplicate your characters. Make sure your characters mirror each other. Your characters must contrast. That is why I was now talking about the poor janitor who is wishing for the life that the billionaire has. Meanwhile, the billionaire is wishing for the life that the janitor has. You guys, can you see the contrast? Can you see the contrast there? So the billionaire wishes to have a simple life while the janitor wishes to have a bogus life. But somehow they are clashed together, maybe in a particular way, or like probably hidden identity. The billionaire does not reveal that they are a billionaire. The janitor is probably is not aware that this person is a billionaire, and they are basically just going to fall in love together with one another, and they mirror each other. They are a complete opposite. While the billionaire probably comes from a place where they are afraid of germs, right? They don't want to touch this, they don't want to touch that, everything irritates them. The janitor would just be like, hey, let's go. They will just push them into dirt and they're laughing. They will splash water on each other and they will laugh about it. Like they are okay to be in the filth. Meanwhile, the billionaire is like, where is it? And the janitor will just laugh at this one and say, who is this? What's wrong with you? Enjoy life. Do you understand? So they come from a conflicting, like contradictory world. They must contrast. That is how to make your characters interesting. So for example, you're creating your male lead and your female lead. If the two of them, even if they are from the same upper class, for example, you say, your male lead is a billionaire from a company, and then your female lead is from a rival company, they must still contrast, they must still clash. For example, one of them could know one of them could be sold on the bougie life and just treats people anyhow. Like, they don't care about other people. They don't care about the feelings of others. The people working for them are trash, And then the second person, the other character, will just be someone who is down to earth, who is ready to, even if they're coming down from their car and then someone falls, an old woman falls, the character will run and help them to stand up and like, hey, are you okay? Should we take you to the hospital? One should be more in tune with reality, while another one should be very vague and materialistic. So you must always find a way to make all your characters conflicting. And when I say this, I'm saying it so that even when you continue to write your story, you keep it like that. So that today you don't start with this character that is very careless, and then somehow that same careless character is now the one that maybe in the next 2 chapters, the next thing we see them, they are now very cautious, they are now very kind. No. Yes, there might be a transformation, but we should be able to see that transformation towards the end, not instantly, not in chapter 1 or chapter 2 or chapter 3, after we have seen them, be very careless. So we must see that all your characters are conflicting and contrasting to each other. One is hot, one is cold. One is hot, one is cold. Always, you must find a way to make sure that your characters are contrasting. If one is very cool and quiet, another one should be loud and annoying. While one is being, probably one is a writer, another one will just be like, hey, I don't even have time to write, and guys, I'll pay someone to write for me. When probably one of them is like, hey, I want to live in the countryside, another one will be like, nah, I must live in the top city where it's happening. There must always be contrast in all your characters. So if you're plotting 3 to 5 characters, all your 3 to 5 characters must look different, must sound different, must feel different, so that when we see your character speaking, we know that it is this character that is speaking. If it is the playboy that is speaking, we know that it's the playboy that is speaking. Even if you say they are twins, even when you are creating twins, right? Even when you are creating twins, you must make sure the twins are contrasting. Even when you create twins and you say, oh, my story is about twins, the twins cannot be the same. Those twins cannot be the same. They cannot be the same. They cannot like the same thing. Yes, the conflict might be that, oh, they decided to like the same girl, they decided to like the same guy, right? But they cannot be the same. They cannot be the same. You must create a conflict, a contrast between your twins, even if they are twins. Do you understand? Are we getting this? Are we following? Are people still here? Are you getting value? Please, I want to get feedbacks. Are we getting value so far? Are there questions you have? Okay, so let me check the comment section now. While I'm waiting for your comment, I want reactions, please, to all that we have spoken about. I need reactions. Please react. I want to see your reactions, okay? I want to see your reactions. Okay, so I see very, very addictive Cookie Lion. Oh, yes, that's true. Cookie Lion was, she was the ball. She was the main character. She came with the main character energy, honestly. And she really conquered that series. Yes. Interesting characters, very intriguing. 3 to 5 characters, real conflicts, no good girl or good boy at all. Always find a way to contrast your characters. When you see, now that we're talking about this, right? This is helping you to control your AI. This will help you to control your AI. So when you are writing, when you are finished plotting your story, before you plot your story, you will do your characterization, right? Before you even start to plot your story, when when your AI has pitched you your story, or you have pitched your story to your AI, what you need to do next is to build your characters out. Tell the AI to show you your characters, and then begin to ask it to plot your characters to contrast. 100% contrast. They should mirror each other. So when this one is left, this one must be right. When this one is left, this one must be right. Right? That is how to plot your characters. Before you even start to plot your story, you must create characters that are really dynamic. That is why I chose to do this today, because a lot of us are struggling with getting our books signed. I thought about it and I thought, hey, what are these people looking for? It might just be that your characters are not interesting enough. It might just be that your characters are not inciting enough. It might just be like your characters are not contrasting enough, right? So what do you need to do now? You need to go back and look at your pitch again, your story pitch. Right? Your story is good, it looks good, but do you know it can be better with your characters? Once you understand your characters, what you need to do now, when you have your beginning, middle, and end, what you need to do now is to ask your AI to plot your characters for you. With this knowledge that you have now, you say my 3 or my 5 major characters, please plot them this way. You will tell your AI, every one of my characters must be different from each other. They must not be the same. I must not see the same characters in any of them. If this one is snorting, another one must be laughing like a gentle person. If this one is snoring when they are sleeping, another one must be very quiet and irritated snoring. Do you understand? It is also very interesting when you see that when you create a story that probably an older woman falls in love with a younger guy, or an older man falls in love with a younger woman. See the contrast now. It already sets it like you have already set the stage for serious wahala, serious conflict, serious drama. Because, for example, an older guy, what is he concerned about? He's concerned about living a quiet life now. He has seen it all. He has enjoyed life. He has gone through all the rigors of life. But guess what? The younger woman is still trying to enjoy life. She still wants to go to party. And probably at this point, because she's very attractive, she's expecting her man to be very attractive to her, or attracted to her, and following her, matching her energy and so on. And the older guy doesn't have all that energy. You guys, can you see the contrast? Can you see the conflict? Can you see how that would already cause drama? I hope you guys are following me here. Are we getting value from this? Are we getting value? Right? So if you're getting value, please click the thumbs up. If you have not, there's a thumbs up at the top of the screen under the name of this channel. Please click it for me. You help to support the channel. All right, please click the thumbs up. It helps. Thank you. All right, so you can see that the conflicts are important. Make sure you are adding if your characters are alike. Oh, you now create 2 ladies that are so alike and so on. You have failed. If you create 2 men that are alike, you have failed. Even if it is 2 friends who are going after the same woman, one of them must win her heart. How can the man that will win her heart stand out? What does she look for? Probably she's looking for someone who is a bad guy. Probably she's looking for someone who is, the 2 of them might be good. They might be good guys. Do you understand? There is no villain, or, that is where the conflict actually lies. That you cannot even, the audience cannot decide. The audience will be like, oh, and this guy is a good guy. Why won't she choose him? Right? The 2 guys might just be good guys. But the conflict now lies with the woman who wants something. For example, I watched a particular series where the woman was married to this guy. The guy was very homely and everything, and they had lived, probably, I think it started with their anniversary, probably 5 years anniversary or 10 years anniversary or something. And somehow on the day of the anniversary, the guy had to work. The only person that was there happened to be his best friend, who has, that one is like, everybody knows him, he's a Casanova, he's that, but he would show up for his friend, right? Somehow, guess what? They ended up together. The lady and the Casanova. Everybody knows he's a Casanova for her. Everybody already knows this guy is a Casanova. You, the woman, you already know he's a Casanova. But somehow, for that particular time, she wanted a Casanova. That is the conflict. Her husband happened to be working on their anniversary. Not that they have had issues before. They were practically living like regular couples, avoiding conflict, taking out the trash, saying yes to each other, living the regular, boring, random life. But basically, obviously, we could now tell that she was bored with the boredom, right? That was the conflict. And then somehow the Casanova swooned in and he swept her off her feet, and somehow a forbidden love sparked up. That was the trope for that particular story, forbidden love. Imagine, falling in love with your husband's best friend, and the best friend falling in love with his best friend's wife. They are not broke, they've not divorced yet, they're still married, and somehow they had to keep that relationship going. Guys, that romance on its own was, oh my goodness, it was forbidden, but you could see the numbers. People were addicted to it because the characters were crazy. You cannot choose who is right, who is wrong. The woman's need was valid because at the time of their anniversary, she needed someone there. Her need was valid, you guys. The one who went to work, his need was valid. He had to work. He had to work for his family. His need was valid. The one who is a Casanova, for we all know, for whatever reason, he is a Casanova. That is this person, But guess what? The Casanova now fell in love. Casanova now ended up falling in love with his wife's friend, with his friend's wife, rather. You guys, can you see that conflict? Can you see it? No matter how, you must not paint this one is a villain outrightly. You must not paint your characters as outright villains. That is what takes us to the next point. The next point is every character must have a goal. Every character must have a goal. They must have a fear. They must have their desires. So their goals, desires, their fears, it does not make them bad. It makes them human and relatable. It makes them human and relatable. And people always, glide towards what feels relatable to them. For whatever sake, why do you like the kind of stories that you like? Think about the characters that you remember a lot. Think about those characters that you cannot forget. Why is it that you cannot forget them? Or think about the reason you laugh at some characters, right? Sometimes you're watching a film and you laugh. Why do you laugh? Think about it. It is because it is relatable to you. You can actually feel it. It actually feels, familiar. Right? So if you're creating characters and you're trying to be all goody two shoes, you're trying to be up there, guess what? You are not talking or taking your audience through a journey. That means your characters are not relatable to your audience. Your audience will abandon your story. And that is why some of us are not getting our books signed. So we have to look at that. Is your character very relatable? Do they feel like humans with natural flaws, with natural desires, with natural fears and goals? Okay, so let's talk about their goals and their desires, for example. Right? Now, let us look at the story of the forbidden love that we just talked about. The one for the woman, yeah? Her goal was what? She wanted to have a celebration, an anniversary celebration. That was where it all started. For the man who she's married to, what happened? He has to put bread on his table. He has to be a provider. Basically, they practically had like a traditional marriage, and he was the provider for his marriage, for his family. So he had to go provide. So it was valid. His boss does not understand that on a working day you have to probably take off because you have to go and celebrate your anniversary. For example, he could also argue and say that, hey, can't we move this thing from work day to weekend, right? So that we can be together on the weekend. Probably that could have been his argument. So each of them had their individual goals. Each of them had what? Their individual goals. Okay, so excuse me, let me take some water. So I'm going to be reading chats. You guys feel free to chat me. Feel free to drop your messages in the chat. I will be reading. If you have questions, if you have comments, please drop them, okay, so that I can tackle them as we're talking. So remember, today's particular class is focused on building bingeable characters. Why should your audience fall in love with your story? It is because of your characters, and we're talking about the steps to create this type of characters that are addictive to your audience. Why your audience will want to spend their time, getting or watching your film. Why does the audience want to spend time, enjoying your story? Why does the audience want to, invest their time reading your book? Okay, so this is it. So if you have questions, ask in the chat as we are going through the step by step. I hope you're getting value. If you're getting value, please type what you have learned so far in the chat as we go forward. Okay, so I was talking about the goals of your character. Each of your characters must have their own individual goals. For example, the woman who is married, we are still talking about the forbidden love story that we're talking about now. The couple who are married, for example, the lady wants to feel like, she wants to feel alive again. Somehow, all those feeling of you marry someone, after 10 years, it feels like you guys are now old, the fire is gone, there is nothing special again. And probably the anniversary is something that will make her feel special, and the husband says he wants to go and work on that day. She just cannot understand it, even when yes, it logically makes sense, because guy, it is a weekend, it's a weekday, and he will usually work on a Monday. Your anniversary just happened to fall on a Monday. Can't you just, probably you guys, find a way to prepare for the weekend and make the weekend worth it? But somehow she is gloomy, she is moody, she actually needs a man, around her at that point. There is a lot of whatever going on, hormones and the rest, and the husband is just not aware. There are also those where he expects her to know, and there is that silent treatment thingy, where instead of confronting their issues, the couple will just be quiet and just assume that things will just fall into place, and they go through it together. But guess what? That is where the fire comes in. This guy will just swoon in on a power bike, and he's wearing this shirtless whatever all those hot guy introductions, right? This one doesn't care. He's not actually looking for love. He's not actually looking for love or whatever. And he swoons in, and guess what? He's the one, his own greeting himself. He's even those kind of wild people that don't even care. Their greeting could just be them jacking the wife, carrying the wife up, kissing her, and turning her around. And she has never felt like that before. And you guys know about this happy hormones thing, right? When a woman is happy, or anybody, basically when you're happy, you release that oxytocin, right? You release those happy hormones. Like, it could just be one trigger, and guess what? That guy just comes in on a power bike, and he just carries her up, and he spins her around, kisses her up and down, and says, "Hey, you're such a beautiful woman." The husband has not told her she has been beautiful for the last probably 6 months or whatever. And someone, even when she doesn't feel beautiful, right? Even when she doesn't feel beautiful, this guy is saying, "You're beautiful. Oh my goodness, pack your hair like this, look like this," and somehow someone is paying attention to her. Guess what? You have already set it up. What is her goal? She wanted to feel beautiful. Her desire is to feel like a woman. Her desire is to feel needed, wanted by someone. Her desire is to feel like a woman, feel attractive, feel beautiful. That is her desire. It is very valid. It is very valid, very, very valid, right? No matter how you want to define it. Oh, couldn't she have told her husband? Couldn't she? Yes, leave that for the audience to debate. Leave that for the audience to debate. Your own is to show that a regular human wants to feel like this. It is not your duty to start to castigate your character. It is not your duty to start to police your character's feelings. No. As writers, it is not your duty to do that. Your duty is to portray, show the audience who a real human is. What do they actually want? Right? So for example, even while that is happening, right? Even while that is happening, imagine that while that is happening, the husband doesn't even care. Right? She might even just be doing, "Stop it, don't say that," expecting the husband to say, "No, baby, you are actually beautiful," and the husband just doesn't get it. He still does not notice. Probably even that day she wore a new cloth, hoping that he will notice that she changed her dress, or she made up, somehow. Even when the friend is doing that, he still will not notice, because he's so busy with, probably under pressure from his boss, to deliver a new client or whatever. Yes, now that takes us to his own desire. His own desire. Every character must have their own desire. What is he pursuing? He's pursuing work. He must not be sacked. He's pursuing a lot. So if he's under pressure to even notice that probably his wife dressed well, made up, and today is their anniversary, he's probably too busy for it. Now you cannot fault him. Can you fault him? But guess what? The audience will fault him. The audience will fault him. So it is not your duty as the writer to fault him. It is your duty to portray his own struggles. What are his desires? His desire is to make sure he closes that client. His desire is to make sure that he puts food on his table. His desire is to make sure that he does not come home, without a job. Right? That is his desire. So it is very valid, just as valid as the woman's desire to be noticed, to be loved, to be attractive to her partner. It is equally as valid. So it is left for you as the writer to do justice to their desires, not to police their desires. All right. Am I communicating? Are we getting this? You must make sure you know this even before you start to write your story, so that when you're writing it, your story does not take a different turn. So that the woman does not say, oh, no worries, no worries. And when she says no worries, she actually means no worries. No. A woman like this, when she says no worries, guy, you must be worried. You must be worried. When she says no worries, guy, worry. You have to be worried. You have to set it up like that even the audience will be the one saying, you need to worry, you need to worry. You need to make your audience sit on the edge of their seat when they are reading, oh no, he did not notice, she just said don't worry. Oh my goodness, he spoke a long word and she only answered with one word. Do you understand what we are doing here? If you are not able to understand your characters from the beginning, if you do not set it up like this, your characters will be boring. And guess what? Somehow, in the middle of your story, your AI can divert your story and you will not know. So you need to have plotted this before you even start to plot your story, because it is how interesting your characters are that will create the conflict that will make your story alive throughout your 100 plus chapters. Am I communicating? Is someone getting value from this? Are we getting value from this? Are we getting value? Okay, so if you have questions, feel free to ask. This is that time to start asking your questions. Okay, so this is the time to ask your questions. Please ask. So you must make sure that your characters are, all their goals are valid. All their fears are valid. All their fears, their goals, and their desires are valid. So, for example, the lady might be afraid of, probably getting divorced. She's probably getting old. She might feel like, age is catching up with her. That is her own fear. And probably somehow, for whatever reason, maybe that is even the guy is younger, the one that becomes the problem, the conflict becomes a problem. Do you understand? It might be younger, and she's thinking, even if I have to divorce, even if I have to leave my husband at this point, right? How do I then, marry a younger guy? Will he actually want me? There is so much to do here. There is so much conflict. Once you have determined who your characters are, right, it is easier to build forward. Now, we have not even talked about the goal and the desires of the Casanova, the one who comes into the picture and scatters that picture of the perfect couple, right? So what could be his goal? What could be his goal? He could come in with probably he's running away from something, and they will ask him, when did you come into town? And he say, he's just in town for a few days, and so on. Guess what? A few days is enough for him to set that family on fire, right? And also change his own perspective on the life that he once knew. A few days is enough to already, set that family on fire, set the woman on fire. And I'm saying set on fire now in the emotional sense. I'm not talking about real set on fire, right? That is someone who makes her crave what she feels like she's missing. And of course, he too will change in the process. Because he probably has never imagined that he will fall in love with an older lady. He probably has never imagined that he would, actually fall in love because probably he's the Casanova and everybody knows him. He's good at being the bad guy. Now he has to be a good guy to this lady because of course the lady would have to cry and so on, and he just cannot stand seeing her cry. He just feels somehow responsible for her, and for once in his life he will fall in love. Yeah, that will also change him. And that was not his goal. That was not his goal. So you as the writer have to plot it out. Make sure all your characters are conflicting. A regular husband and a Casanova man, and then a woman who feels she's missing out on something. That already sets the stakes. So it is left for you now to add more conflict, more layers to make it worthy of your audience's attention. If you can get that right, your plotting will make sense, maximum sense. That is from the beginning. It must make sense. Okay. From the moment you start chapter 1, imagine you're starting chapter 1 from, hey honey, it's our anniversary, and the guy is like, oh, I'm late for work. Guy, you already set it on fire. And then the next thing we hear, poop, poop, the guy is driving in with his bike. Remember, I already told you guys that your characters must meet on the first scene, first chapter. Your male lead, female lead, they must meet on the first chapter, first scene, and the conflict, the stakes must be clear. What are the stakes? This lady sees the guy. Probably she doesn't even like the guy. She's like, why is your guy? They say, no, he just called me. He said he'll be in town for a few days and da. They probably don't even like each other, but somehow the attraction keeps growing. That alone is already conflict on its own. You already set the stakes. The two people, they don't like each other. He's too wayward. He's gonna draw attention to us. They want to be silent. This one wants to be loud. That is contrast. That is conflict. Okay, if you can always find conflict, contrast, to contrast everything. When this person wants this person wants that, you must always find a way to do that in every of your story. So when you are plotting with your AI, always tell your AI there must be a push-pull at every given. Push-pull, that's what it's called, push-pull. So that contrast, this person wants this person wants that, they will continually push-pull, like push-pull, push-pull, okay? So that alone sets your story and makes it interesting, alive. Your characters will continually keep your audience coming back. They want to come and see what next your character is up to. They want to come and see whether your female character has fallen for the temptation. They want to come back and see, whether how good the male character, the one who is the temptation, how good is he holding off? Is he still doing, some, all the stuff now? You have to describe it. So you have to really be detailed with that, okay? So we have talked about 3 to 5 characters, contrasting, getting your characters to mirror each other, and we have talked about what drives your characters, their goals, their fears, their desires, okay? Now we want to move on to the unique traits of your characters. You have to make sure that your characters have a unique trait, okay? So remember, we are trying to create characters that are close to life, real life, right? There is no real person that is perfect. There is no real person that is perfect. It is only in films, it is only in probably with AI that you create perfection. No real person is perfect. That is why when I started by talking about Empire, I told you about all the problems that even with their status, they still face. So you must create peculiar perks for all your characters. Maybe this person is dealing with a drug addiction. Maybe the other one is dealing with probably a sexual whatever. Another one is dealing with something else. Your story must, cover every edge that your character or your characters are facing. What are the challenges of your character? Your story must be able to cover it, must be able to show. This guy, while he's laughing and so on, he's probably dealing with like a toxic parent, right? They probably have a toxic background, the person is dealing with a toxic parent, he's dealing with a toxic wife, he's dealing with a toxic, she's dealing with a toxic husband, or even if they're not yet married, maybe a relationship that is draining them, while they are being loyal. For example, imagine there's a film that I watched where The lady is a police officer, right? And she's respected in her precinct. But guess what? She goes home to a bully that beats her up. You guys, just look at that conflict. Just look at that conflict. A super cop, a female super cop who is respected in her precinct, but she goes home and the husband will beat her up. Just look at that conflict, you guys. That already sets how do you explain it? So that is what we are going for. Real life issues. Real life, their life cannot be flawless. Their lives cannot be flawless. Their lives cannot be flawless. They must be dealing with something. Just imagine that. Just imagine that. A female super cop, respected by men, women, her precinct, everybody respects her. She catches criminals on a daily. She's you don't mess with her, that kind of person. But guess what? In the night when she goes home, she turns on the light, someone is waiting for her to beat her up. A regular random man beating her up. Do you understand that? That is serious conflict and human flaw. So what do you say that is now? She's probably dealing with some inferiority complex. She's probably dealing with some self-esteem issues. She's probably dealing with some things more than the ordinary that the human eyes cannot see. You are expecting her to be perfect. You're expecting her life to be perfect. Oh, she's a super cop. She's this, she's that. But guess what? She's dealing with more than that. How about someone who is all, goody two shoes and so on, but somehow he's just not. Probably he's not in good terms with his parents. Maybe his father, he's living in his father's shadow. Do you understand? You must always create a peculiar, character or trait for your characters. So when you're trying to mirror each of them, make sure that they are contrasting, they don't look like each other, they must also be fighting their own individual battles. For example, if we're going with the billionaire trope, imagine the billionaire with everything that he has. He still has a mother who will remind him that you can never be your father. Just imagine that now. I'm even angry while saying it. Do you understand? And people are dealing with that. Your audience will instantly gravitate towards the story. Your audience will instantly gravitate towards the story. Yes, he might be falling in love. He might be respected by all his workers. The janitor might see the best of him. But that's one person's validation that he's looking for. He will never get it because his mother just does not see him as worthy. His mother will keep telling him, you can never be your father. I don't want anything to do with you. This, that, and probably the mother is in a elderly home or something. People are dealing with that. Trust me, when you start to write that type of story, you will see your audience will tell you their own story because they are also dealing with it. No matter what, your money cannot buy that. You have all the money in the world. Imagine a billionaire with everything, but your mother, who is an elderly in a elderly home, will humble you with just one word: you can never be your father. You can never be as great as your father. You can never be this. Imagine that. That on its own already sets your billionaire up for no matter what he does, he's already angry. He's already defeated mentally. So even when his successes are physical, like you can celebrate the merger, he just did this, he just did that, he bought a new house, he bought every other person is celebrating him, but he is still not worthy of whatever he feels that he has gotten because his mother still feels that he's beneath. He can never be worth. He has not been able to get the one validation he needs. And you wonder why he gets that validation. So imagine that. Now plant a love in his life that will take a while for that love, that woman, the woman that will now enter into his life. Do you know the type of work she would do to change that perspective? Because imagine who she's going up against. She's going up against his mother. And you know how he will revere his mother. So whatever his mother has been saying to him for several years, in 2 chapters, will she be able to undo it? No, she will not. So you must show the struggle. You must show the struggle that even when she's in his life, even when she's giving him affirmative words, right? You are more than this. You can be more than this. You are better than this. And whatever. It cannot undo the words of 1,000 years that the mother has been saying to him. Imagine he's buying her chocolate, buying her flowers, going to see her, and the next thing she says that there needs to come a time, yes, probably in your chapter 60, chapter 70, chapter 80, when his mother would try to say that to him, and he would tell her, I don't care. There needs to be that time, but it cannot be in your chapter 2. We must see him struggle. We must see him battle it. We must see him, probably that will even force him into health issues, probably depression, probably insomnia, probably, there must be other things that will come from that. And also, that is for the billionaire alone. Also, this same thing translates to your female character as well. That is your female lead. Okay? So your female lead as well must be dealing with her own. So even though she's now dating a billionaire, imagine she already dated a drug addict. Imagine she already dated someone who beats her up. Someone who locks her up in a cupboard for years. Probably the person is the one who raised her. Right? Probably the guy raised her up and he taught her that she's not deserving of anything. Probably even where she's working as a janitor currently, all her money as she's working, she's packing the money to give to the man. Like the man is still in her life, even though the billionaire and her somehow start to have secret love affair. Somehow her money, the money she's working for, she still carries the money and gives it over to the other man who probably raised her, who made her to feel grateful to him, who she owes him in her life, even though he maltreats her, even though he doesn't treat her right. Imagine that. Just imagine it. She's dealing with that. The billionaire is dealing with his own. But these two people must find love. That is what makes your story interesting, bingeable, worthy. So if you can do that work, use your AI, build these things the way we have talked about it now. Use these steps, use these formats, and build your characters the way we have talked now. Your story will be quality. Your story will not be AI-ish. Right? The way a lot of people feel like, AI stories are lame, AI stories are this. No, you are not an AI. You are a human who is using AI as a tool, probably as a computer, as a typewriter, the same way we used to use it before. Now you are using it to write for you. You dictate. You can even dictate into the AI and tell it, this is how I want it to be. Right? So the AI is not the one writing. You are the one writing. Okay, so am I getting good feedbacks? Am I getting feedbacks? I want to read the chats now. We are wrapping up. Okay, we're wrapping up. If you have questions, this is the time to ask me questions. This is the time to leave your questions in the chat. If you have contributions, if you have comments, if you have gotten anything or you've gained something from today's class, please let me know in the chat. Drop it in the chat. I want to hear. I want to read from you. Okay, so let me read your chats now. I'm ready to read. Okay, someone is saying each character must have individual goals, desires, and fears. All characters, yes, this is it. You have taken very good scribe here. Okay, so you were doing, beautiful. So after doing analysis of 5 chapters, you will see plot holes. Yeah. Okay, so this person is asking based on, trying to write with your AI, and you're asking about the plot holes and so on. Yes, there will always be plot holes. Honestly, the truth is there is no story that is complete. That is why sometimes we have been told that we should go and read, other people's stories on other platforms as well. When you read, sometimes you will look at the story and you think the story is going in a different direction because you might be inspired to write something similar like that. Okay, so we might all start the same story, but the way the story will go will be different at the end of the day. So you have to know that. You have to find a way to, always plan ahead. That is why we're talking about this now. If you have done the work of your characters will be different from the character of another. Right? So your own characters are fighting their own battles. Each character that you have plotted, the female character, what is she fighting for? What is her goal? What is her fear? What is her desire? The male character, what is his goal? What is his fear? What is his desire? Okay? You must plot that out. So when you already have your characters plotted, it is now easy to plot your story. That is now when you bring in those characters into your initial pitch. That's when you bring it into your initial pitch, where you have the beginning, the middle, and the end. You bring those characters who you have now plotted. Sometimes some people will say they prefer to plot their characters first. Like truly, imagine you did this. Imagine you don't even have a story, but in your head you have like 3 characters that are really messed up. And you say, hey, I have these characters. You describe the characters to your AI and say, create a story for me with these characters. Imagine how messy those characters are, and you bring them into your AI. Do you know the badass story is going to give you? Right? It's going to give you an amazing story. So sometimes you don't even need to start with your story first. You can even start with your characters first, right? Come with your characters and say, hey, I have this, story of, I have these characters. These characters are just lingering in my head and I want to play around them. What can I do? And your AI will suggest based on the characters you have given to it. So it is left for you. That is why I'm saying, even before you start to plot the story, that is chapter by chapter, before you start to do that, make sure you have worked on your characters. It is the characters that will make the plot, that is your full story, interesting, so that it will not be boring. Your chapter 1 to 5, your characters would already mess it up because they are messed up. We are meeting your characters already messed up. Do you understand? We are not meeting your characters prim and proper. We're not meeting your characters perfect. Your first 5 chapters should already show us how messy your characters are. Your first 5 chapters should already show us the mess we are getting ourselves into. If we continue to read this story, they will mess up our minds. We should be able to see that in your first 5 chapters rather. And how can you achieve it? If your characters are not messy, you cannot achieve an interesting 5 chapters. Your first 5 chapters, no. If your characters are not messy, if your characters are prim and proper, you will not be able to attract us. You will not be able to sustain the momentum of your audience's attention. No, you will not. And that is why a lot of books are getting rejected. Okay, because the editors already know. They have seen books before. They have seen characters, lots of characters. They have read these stories. They know. So if your characters are not interesting, they already know. What makes your characters interesting is the mess. So even before you write your first 5 chapters, you should already have messy characters. Come with messy characters. Start your story with messy characters. Let us see how messy they can be, how messy their life is for the first 5 chapters. When you do that, guess what? They will sign your book straight up because they know that this is going to be a real mess and people are paying for mess. Okay? So I hope that answers the person's question. The person who is asking about, plot holes and the rest, there will always be plot holes. No story is complete. Your story will not be perfect. Your story will not be complete. What you should just strive to do is to get your characters to be messy. That is why we're having this class today. Your target from henceforth is to make sure your characters are messy, very messy, very, very like someone whose head is not correct, someone who is falling in love with something that should destroy them, someone who is a walking hazard. Do you understand? These are the people that you should be creating in your stories. That is what sells. Okay? I hope you get that now. That is for the person who is asking about that. So Rose Wonderful is saying, my story should have 3 to 5 characters. Each character must have a goal. Yeah. That's correct. Okay, so after doing analysis of 5 chapters, you will see plot holes. Yes, you will. That analysis is a game changer. Yes. If not, writers will carry your story to another level. Okay. All right, so a question. Someone is asking a question, you guys. A question. I notice once plot holes are fixed or you ask for a rewrite, the chapter title might be altered to even after submitting the detailed outline with chapters, or it doesn't matter. Okay, so this is why you need to lock in. You guys, those who are on our group, you have been taught how to lock whatever you have decided. There is a way you will brainstorm in your chat. It is just brainstorming. You have not decided on it. But the moment you decide on something, tell the AI that I have decided on this, lock it. Okay? So that it does not alter it. Don't change anything except I say change it. You must let your AI know that. You must let your AI know it. Okay? Don't change anything except I ask you to change it. So when you lock something in, to change something, you say, okay, so I want to change this, right? Remember, the AI is working for you, so it is what you tell it to do, it will do. So if you do not tell it to lock your what you already decided, it will mix it up. Okay, so also I would also advise that if you're writing with your AI, please use two chats. If possible, use two chats. Okay, one chat is for brainstorming and bringing your ideas up to life and speed. Then another chat is for writing, strictly writing, so that when you write, you copy what you have written from chapter 1 to 5, copy it into the other chat that you are brainstorming in, and analyze to see if it matches the vision. If it matches the vision, it will tell you. If it does not match the vision, what it will do is it will give you feedback. The feedback it gives you, copy it back to the writer and say, this is the feedback that I see here, and correct it. Okay, so I feel like that might also work for the person who is worried about the changes happening in your story as you're writing. Okay, remember, your AI is helping you to bring your ideas to life. It is not writing in vacuum. Okay, so you are the one directing it. So always read what it is giving you. If it is translating your ideas correctly, you are the one telling it the story you want to write, and it is delivering the story you said you want to write. Okay, that is different from someone who is relying completely on the AI to deliver a story to them. So you are not that person. You are the person who is telling the AI, in this chapter, I want this, do this for me, and it's going to do that. So you will end up reading it and saying, okay, this works or this does not work. Okay, so when it works, lock it in. If it doesn't work, change it, give it feedback, and get it to do what you want. Or better still, copy it out. It has already written for you, which is something that a lot of writers struggle to do, when you stare at your blank document for quite a while. So instead of that, just copy out what it has written for you and take it into your Word document or your Google Doc and edit it to your taste. Okay, the editing will be faster because it already did all the writing, the rough drafts. So what you'll just be doing is fine-tuning it, right? I do that too, so you can do that. All right, so that's the question. I hope I answered your question, the person who was asking about that. Also, okay, someone says, also, I noticed some novel titles like sentences. Can we be more creative like that too? I'm always trying to do 3 words novel title. Okay, so I understand this question very well. But there is I feel like you have the right to do it. I feel like you have the right to change whatever you want to change. That's up to you, yeah? But also, go to the platforms, just like what I would say. Go to the platforms and follow them. Look at the books that are selling. Look at the things that are working on those platforms. Okay, look at it. What is working? If your book fits a particular style, go with that style. Because of course you are the writer, you're the one to determine how your book will look, at the end of the day, go with it. If your book fits that style, if that is what you feel like you want to write and you're comfortable doing that, yes, I will not say don't do it, okay? There's just that standard of like 3 words on a book cover and the rest. That's why we started with that. But if you want to do a sentence or multiple, words on your cover, feel free to do that. As long as it fits a particular style, that's up to you. Okay, so someone is saying most of us have good stories. It's just how to deliver them with a bang. From title to characters. Now we have learnt a lot again. All right, thank you to you too. I see Ufoma here. Hi Ufoma, very valuable information. Thank you, Ufoma. So please guys, ask questions. Gift is saying there must have a push and pull. Yes, at every given story, every given turn. In fact, if you read your story and you don't feel the push and pull, check it again. Ask your AI to analyze it. Ask your AI, is there a push and pull in this? And your push and pull should not be less than 60%. There must always be. That is what keeps the audience going. That's what keeps your story going. Right? Your push and pull should be non-negotiable. As long as you have done the character's work, you have done that work perfectly, then what you want to focus on doing is to make sure that there is push and pull. For example, 2 sisters who are struggling to marry the same man. You know that is drama on its own. That is full drama. Do you want to make a time when, oh, they will just sit down and nothing is happening? No, 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 no. You have killed the story. You have killed the momentum. You must be building up, up, up on the momentum, right? That is what keeps your story going. All right, so Gift is saying, question please, does that mean from the beginning of the story the characters must be conflicted? Yes! Oh my goodness, you're just getting that? Oh my goodness, yes, 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 yes. We have talked about this, you guys. What is your hook? What is your hook? We talked about hook before. What exactly have you been working on for your hook? I told you guys in the workshop, right? The first thing first, somebody must slap somebody. Somebody must pour water on someone. Someone must bash someone's car. Someone must come unannounced. There must be something that will make, start the story, that will make people want to pay attention. If we're not getting that from the beginning, then there is no point reading your story. We don't want to know how fantastic it is in chapter 5, chapter 10. We don't want to know how fantastic it is then. We want to know now. So give it to us now. Make sure we are seeing how fantastic your story can be right now. And how can you make it fantastic? That means your characters must be messy. That's all we've been saying. That's all we've been saying from the beginning of this training. Your characters must be messy. Your characters must be messy. They must not be goody two shoes. They must not have their life, sorted out. If their lives are too sorted out, someone must come in and mess it up. Earthquake could just happen and just kill their father, kill their mother, and put them in a high jump, and somehow they find themselves in a foster home. If their life was too perfect, you must mess it up. Mess it up. I don't know if you get it now. Let me know if you get it in the chat. Can you see how passionate I am about this? Because it is your characters. People will open your first chapter and they don't see anything interesting. They will close your book. If when you first upload your book to the platform, what the platform does is they will first show your book to the first audience. Like they will push your book out, and that is the same thing for every platform. So they will push your book out. And if the people who are reading your book don't read beyond the point and they close your book, they don't read beyond the point. Guess what? The platform will hide your book. That means the book is not selling. The book is not sellable. That means you have lost that attention. Right? You're not able to retain the attention of your audience, so they will hide the book. So how do you make sure that your first 5 chapters catches their attention and they want to see more? You must mess up their lives. You must show how messy your characters are. Someone who is outrightly saying they hate men. Someone who is outrightly saying I can never fall in love. Someone who is outrightly saying this is just one night. Someone who is outright mess it up. Mess it up, okay? I hope you get I hope you get the view now. Okay, let me know if you understand now. Okay, so she says, understood, my question has been answered. All right, so well noted, nice replies. Okay, so I guess we all have our questions answered. Is there anyone who is still missing something? Is there anyone who still has a question? If you have not clicked the thumbs up at the top of the screen, please click it. There is a thumbs up at the top of the screen under the name of this channel. Please click it to help support this channel. Okay, thank you so much. As you do, I love you. If you have already clicked the thumbs up before, you don't need to click it again. But if you have not clicked it before, please click it. There is a thumbs up at the top of the screen. All right, please do that. Thank you so much. All right, so do we still have questions? Okay, someone is saying Gemini forgets a lot, even if you told it to lock it. So you need to keep doing the work until it gives you what you need. Perfect. Thank you for telling them that. Thank you for bringing that to our notice. So depending on whatever you're using to write, you guys always take notes. Read what it's giving to you. Always read it, before you submit it. Okay, always read it. Put in your own input. Sometimes they will try to shorten the language. Sometimes they will not, give you exactly what you want. Sometimes the language will change. So you are the one who is writing need to be able to tweak it. You need to be able to edit it. Okay, so you are the author of your story. No matter the tool you're using to write, you are the author of your story. Okay, you are the author. Don't let anyone deceive you or confuse you or tell you that, hey, you are not the author of your story. You are the author of your story. As long as you put in the work, as long as you follow due process and you are writing that story, you are the one writing it, not the AI. The AI couldn't have stayed on its own and come up with the kind of story that you are coming up with. Abi, am I lying? Would the AI have come up with, as grand as this story is that we're talking about? No, it couldn't have. And always remember your what if. So you guys, before we go, let's play a what if game. Let's play a what if game. Let's play a what if game. All right. Okay, someone should start a story for us. I'm going to go into the chats now so that we can read. Let's do a what if just before we go so that we remind ourselves how to play the what if. So for those who are not used to the what if, this is a game that helps you to create more conflict in your story. So whenever you feel like your story is bored or boring, you play the what if to spark things up again. So you guys, who is ready to play the what if game? Let me see you in the chat. Let me see you in the chat. Who is ready to play the what if game? All right. So yes. Okay. So I see noted. You got it. I love you too. I love you. Thank you so much. So thank you for being here. All right, thank you so much for being here. All right, so let's play the what if game, you guys. All right, so I'm gonna give a storyline, right, and we're going to play the what if. Your duty is to copy from the last person and make it worse. Okay, so I will start the story. Your duty is to make it worse. When someone drops their what if, you will copy their what if and make it worse. So we're going to be building that story from another person's story. Okay, do you guys understand that? Let me see. Yes. Give me thumbs up in the chat if you understand what I'm saying. Give me thumbs up in the chat if you understand what I'm saying. Okay, so let me see what we are doing. We're building like a thread, right? So I will start the story. I'm going to read out the story here. And what you're going to do is you're going to wait for the first person to drop their own what if. They will make my own story worse. The story that I will give you, the person that will pick up the story first will make it worse. Then you will read that person's story. Then you will make their story worse. Then another person will pick up the person's story and make it worse. Are we ready? Tell me if we are ready. Tell me I'm ready. Let me see I'm ready in the chat. So we're about to start the story. Let me see I'm ready in the chat. Okay, so we're about to start that story, you guys. Okay. All right, so the story is this. A man somehow witnesses a horrific incident in his workplace. So he was working late and he noticed his boss abused a lady. And somehow the lady happens to be the boss's cousin. Should he go forward and tell the company? Should he tell the company? Or should he keep quiet and go away? So this is our male lead now. Our male lead sees his boss maltreating or malhandling his cousin. That's the boss's cousin, not the man's cousin. Yeah, his boss's cousin. And probably in an intimate affair or something. Does he pretend that he did not see it and go away? So what happens? You take the story in a different direction. What happens? What should happen from here onward? He just witnesses that scene. Like it is night, he was working late, and somehow he comes in, he sees his boss malhandling his cousin. That's the boss's cousin. The boss and his cousin are, having whatever intimate affair, and the boss is malhandling her. Should our male lead talk about it or confront the boss, or what does he do now? And if he does it, what happens? Let us see it. If you've not clicked the like button up here, I'm going to be reading your chats, you guys. I'm going to be reading your chats out. I want to see how are we going to take this? What direction are we going to take this story now? I want us to write it together. I want us to write this story together. So this is just a a messy story. Imagine I started my story off like that, right? Can you see how messy that story starts off? So this guy is just in the middle of this thing and he comes across that. So what happens next? Let us write this story together. If you've not clicked the like button at the top of the screen, if you've not clicked it before, please click it. Okay, there is a like button at the top of the screen under the name of this channel. Please click the like button. There is a like button there. Please click it, okay? But if you have no need to click it, please jump into the what if. We're in the what if session. I want to make sure that we all remember what to do with the what if, okay? All right, so Ufoma is saying, what if she smiles a lot but pretends all is well? Is this the same story? Is this the same story? I don't think so. I don't think so. Okay, so let's read another what if. Someone says, what if the lady died? Aha! You guys! What if the lady died after the abuse and he was roped in to keep short? Hey! With serious threats as a witness. Okay, we're going in a different direction. Oh, but we seem to have another person saying, what if he decides to talk about the incident and it leads to him getting fired? Okay, so these are two starters. So you guys, we have two people starting the story here. Someone is saying he gets roped in to be quiet, right? And another person says he decides to speak up, and it leads to him being fired. Choose any of these stories that started the story now. Choose any of them and continue the story from there. Choose any of their beginning. Choose any of them now and continue the story. Let's start from there. Okay, so Ufoma is saying, what if it was his wife? Will he keep quiet or confront? Okay, so Ufoma, you're asking the question like an audience right now. You're not playing the writer's role, right? The writer's role is to make it worse. You are playing the audience right now. Okay, so you guys, can you see? Let us allow Ufoma to play the audience here. So you guys twist it up and let us get him to react, okay? The goal now, let us make Ufoma react. Ufoma is already reacting. Ufoma is saying, what if it was his wife? Will he keep quiet or confront? So you guys, let us twist him up. Let us use Ufoma as your audience now, okay? Make it worse and let us get Ufoma to react. You guys, that is the goal right now. So pick any of these and let us play on it. Let us play with this. What do we do now? What's the next what if? What direction should we take? You guys, let's do this. Let's see the worst case scenario. Okay, worst case scenario, what will happen? I love the two that started it already. Someone says, what if the lady died during the abuse or after the abuse and he was roped in? That is, the story, right? The story starts off with a guy who was working late and he happens to see the boss malhandling the boss's cousin. That is, the two of them were intimate or whatever, and this guy somehow missed his road and witnessed something he shouldn't be witnessing, and somehow someone says he is now roped in to keep quiet with serious threats as a witness. And another person is saying he decides to speak up about the incident and it leads to him getting fired. So you guys, let's make this worse. Let us make it worse. What could be the next worst case scenario? If he's roped in and he's threatened as a witness to keep quiet, what is the worst case scenario? What happens next? And if he decides to speak up and he's fired, what can make it worse than being fired? What is the worst case scenario after being fired? Let's do this. Okay, so someone else is saying, what if it was his wife? He decided to talk, but not record evidence or receipts. Okay, so you guys are not completing the story. You're not completing the story. I want us to continue the story. Continue the story from the other person's thread. Okay? Continue the story. So the story you're continuing from now should be, if he was roped in to keep short as a witness, continue from there. What could make it worse? Now that he's keeping short, the lady has died, he's keeping short, and he has been threatened as a witness. What now happens? What makes it worse from there? Okay, make it worse. Make it worse from that story. Don't create a new story. Let us continue this story here. Make it worse. Okay. Okay, so someone else is saying, what if the job was his only livelihood? I like it. That is continuing from maybe he was fired. I like that one. That is continuing from after he spoke up, he was fired. His job is his only livelihood. What now makes it worse? What could make it worse? Make it worse. Mess it up. You're not messing this thing up. You guys, you see, you are forgetting your what if, right? Can you guys see that you are forgetting your what if? You're supposed to mess it up. You're supposed to make it worse. For example, if he has been fired, what if the day he was parking, a car hit him and somehow he loses his memory or he loses his limb or something? Make it worse. Make it worse. All right. Okay, so let's go. Gift is saying, what if immediately he got fired? Another person he got, Gift is getting this. Gift understands the what if. Can you see? Gift is completing the story from the person who said, what if he decides to talk about the incident and it led to him getting fired? Gift is completing that story now by saying, what if after he got fired, another person got an accident on his way home? Another person, he got an accident on his way home and was in a coma. Gives you understand this thing, but I didn't get this one. Another person, I don't know why another person is here right now. We're talking about one man we're driving the story of one man, not another person. Okay, so that's one man who got fired. What if he got an accident, right? And on his way home. Okay, let's continue from there. What if immediately he got fired, he got an accident and got into a coma? Beautiful. So let's continue. You guys, can you see that you can make it worse? Mess it up, mess it up. Now that he's in a coma, what can make it worse? Now that the man is in a coma, after losing his job, he decided to speak up. He lost his job. He was now fired, and now he had an accident and he got into a coma. What can make that worse? What can make it worse? Tell us what can make it worse. What's the what if now? Okay, so let's go. His only livelihood, he decided to retaliate with dangerous aim at the man's family. That is another way. That is from Simple Calm Lessons. Simple Calm Lessons is saying, he's only I don't know which story you're completing here. Simple Comes, please let me know which story you're completing. Which story are you messing up here? Which of the stories are you messing up? Ufoma, are you still on this call? Do you understand the what if now? Do you now understand the what if? Do you understand the what if game? Do you understand what we are doing? So for writers are not the audience. Writers are not the audience. Writers are creating to make the audience react. Okay, so this is a writing class. This is for writers to learn how to instigate, like poke the audience, make the audience react, make the audience pay attention to your character. Right? So your duty is to mess things up. You're not praying for a perfect day for your character. Yes, we do pray for a perfect day in real life, but when you're telling a story, no, what sustains your character is the mess. Right? What sustains your audience's attention is the mess, that they can sympathize with your character, they can empathize with your character, they can feel that, oh, the pain is too much for your character. That is what makes your character, that is what makes your story interesting. That is what will keep your audience coming back. Okay? So I hope you do understand it now. Are you ready to jump into the what if game? Are you ready to jump into the what if game? You guys, let's get Ufoma to react. All right, so Gift is saying, what if when he got into the coma, his family came to the company and caused a big problem for the company? Okay. I like this angle. So we are going family-wise. So we have expanded the story now to like his family going to the company, All right, I like it. Now there is a problem here. The family coming in. Do they have evidence? These are questions I'm looking for now. Beautiful. I like that we are going in a different direction. Now the guy is already in a coma. So what can make it worse? His family. What if instead of his family coming to make problem, they are begging? They are begging for, probably the company to forgive them, and the family is begging for them to forgive them. They don't have money, and, maybe the company now tells the family to make a statement and say everything that the guy said was a lie. How about that? That will mess things up, you guys. Okay, I like that. Gift, let's keep going. Let's go. All right, so Simple Calm Lesson is saying, what if he's in a coma and the wife got access to his phone that can record? She didn't go to the police. She planned for the revenge herself. Okay, so I am lost here. Are we telling the same story? While I like the conflict in here, I'm not getting it. Okay, so let's imagine. Okay, so I think you have created a wife for our character who was in a coma, right? So we are agreeing that this guy saw what he shouldn't have seen, then he got fired because he spoke up. Now he got into an accident and he got in a coma, right? So I guess that's where we currently are. Now you have manufactured a wife for him. He's in the coma, and his wife got access to his phone that can record. And she didn't go to the police. She planned for the revenge herself. Which revenge? Now I'm confused. You see that you have messed things up and it's not making sense right now, right? So help us to realign. Help us to realign the story, right? I was trying to make sense of the connection, right? So help us to make sense of the story. Mess it up, but keep the story intact, okay? Just like Ufoma is saying, the messier, the better. Exactly. The messier, the better. I like it. I like it, you guys. So can we see that, sometimes we can also write like this without having comprehension? You must be able to have like continuity for your story, right? Don't just manufacture things out of nowhere. So for example, you're saying the wife planned a revenge. What revenge? We started the story from the man witnessing something he shouldn't have witnessed, right? And then he got into an accident after he was fired. So what revenge are we talking about right now? Do you see that does not connect? Do you see that? So you need to be able to ripple your story with lots of connection to the original incident that happened. Are we seeing that? Do we get that now? That is why I said we should play the what if game, because I know a lot of us have forgotten that. A lot of us have forgotten it. You need to do this often with your characters, with your story. What if, what if, what if? And when you're doing the what if, you're trying to make things worse. From the original concept of your story, you try to ripple, spiral until you get something, that is messier than the original. That's what keeps your story alive. You don't just create. If you create this kind of story now that does not connect, you have practically disconnected all of us from your story. We don't even understand what we are following again. We are now confused. I'm confused about your story right now. I was trying to follow it, then I just got confused about your story. Do you see that? So we need to be able to follow through with the original story and just ripple and make that particular incident worse. Okay? All right, so noted. Do we still want to continue? Is there someone who wants to drop a more messier what if? If we do not have anyone, we'll be calling it a day. So just to summarize what we have covered today, we have covered, make sure that your characters are contrasting, no duplicates are allowed. Make sure that you always mirror it, the characters mirror each other, mirrors always win. Then always focus on building 3 to 5 characters maximum. The other characters are going to be minor characters. You don't need to do 10 characters story. No, 1 character, 2 characters, 3 characters, follow their journeys. Make sure we see them in their lowest, in their, like sometimes we see this in a lot of our Nollywood films where they put too many stars in the film and there is no content in the film because they are building too many things at the same time. We just see different characters everywhere. There is no substance in the film because all they want to show is celebrities, popular characters. They just want to sell. Right? There is no content there. But for you who is a writer who understands that the people who are reading your book, they are intellectuals, they are looking, they are seeing what you're doing. If you mess it up, they will not pay attention to you. And if they don't pay attention to you, you will not get paid. So you need to come correct. So your characters focus on building 3 solid characters or 5 solid characters and tell your story very well. Imagine what Empire did. Empire sustained, was it not 2 or 3 seasons of their story with over, I think it got to season 5. I don't even know. You guys tell me, how many seasons did Empire do? Right? They were able to sustain their seasons with 5 characters. That is to show you that your story is not too big. Your story is not too small. It is you who is not building your characters enough. Build 1 character, build 2 characters, build 3 characters. It is enough to create a full season. Build 4 characters, build 5 characters. It is your story. It is enough to build a full season. Okay, that is what Empire did. 5 major characters, the remaining were minor characters. Then make sure that your characters are always conflicting and contrasting. This person must be the fire to this person's water. This person must say go. This person must say come. This person must say rain. This person must say sun. Right? They must always be contrasting. Always contrasting. That is what keeps it alive. For example, you see Cookie Lion and Lucius Lion. Even when they are mad at each other, you guys can see their push and pull. They hate each other, they love each other, hate each other, they love each other. Like they are nobody can come between them. Can you guys see that push and pull? We love it. We love it. We got addicted to their toxic relationship. We got addicted to it. We want to see them together. Right? That is the push and pull we're talking about. Your characters must always be contrasting. Okay, so Gift is saying, what if since the family got there, they realized he was at fault? That is you judging. You are beginning to judge. You have gotten out of the writer's seat. You are now the audience. You are judging your character instead of writing as a human for your character. Your character has lost the human touch. You are now judging. You are now judging your character. All right. So Ufoma is saying, what if after coming out of the coma to get his job back, he settles by saying he lost his memory? Okay. That kind of creates another conflict. Like maybe he is now coming back for revenge. I kind of see this going in the revenge direction. I like that, Ufoma. I like that. And then Gift is saying, what if since the family got there, they realized he was at fault? Gift, you are judging your character. You are judging your character. Your duty as the writer is not to judge your character. Your duty as the writer is to tell your character's story, not to judge them. So you are judging your character. Stop judging your character. If you judge your character, you will not be a great writer. Don't judge your character. Your duty is to tell your character's story. What does your character want the world to see about them? That is your duty, to tell it, to show the world what your character is going through. Don't judge your character, okay? Your character can be anybody. Your character can be anybody. Your character can be gay. Your character can be a serial killer. Your character can be anything at all. It is your duty to tell their story, not to judge them. All right? I hope I am communicating. All right. So you always must remember that I'm just summarizing what we have covered today. Your character's motivation is key to keeping your characters alive throughout your story. You must always remember what drives your character, their goals, their fears, and their desires. Always create a unique trait for your character. That is their habits, speech pattern, quirks, and so on. And also remember they should always have a backstory. For example, the story of the billionaire whose mother continues to tell him he will never be his father, or, so there's a backstory to the reason he's angry, depressed, and so on, probably dependent on a particular medication or has insomnia or whatever. Right? So you must always figure that out and add that in their story. Then always there should be conflicts, internal and external conflicts. So internal conflict could be him battling his own challenges of getting over the voice of his mother, while he's conflicted about falling in love with a janitor who is less than him in social status. Do you understand? So those are internal and external conflicts. Then growth. How do they change or evolve? Does your character grow along the way? We talked about that. Yes, we will see a transformation in his life, but it will not happen in chapter 2 or 5 or 10. It will happen later in the chapter. In your book, where probably the mother wants to tell him again those words that she has always said, and he will tell her to stop it. Don't say that to me. I am not this, I am not that, and so on. That would show us that your character has grown, your character has developed, okay? So transformation is important. Then relatability, we talked about that as well. Make your characters human. Or alien if you want, if you're telling alien story. For those who are telling fantasy stories, probably your characters are dragons, or that is up to you, but they must have relatable challenges. We have talked about relatable challenges. Your audience must be able to feel their pain, empathize with them, sympathize with them, and say, this is too much for one person, to be facing. You must make them relatable like that, okay? That is what we have talked about. Then flaws. There is no perfection anywhere. Imperfection makes your characters believable. Imperfection makes your characters believable. If you keep creating someone who is nice, who is good, like Gift is saying, what if his family goes there and he discovers he's at fault? Guess what? Your character being at fault and still being proud and bossy, that is content. That is why your audience wants to stay and watch or read. Your character being at fault, he can clearly see he's at fault. Everybody can see he's at fault, but he chooses to be proud, braggadocio, very arrogant and annoying. Guess what? That is content. You are not to judge your character. You have no right to judge your character as a writer. It is not your duty to judge your character. Your duty is to tell your character's story. Make it relatable. Make them have flaws. Make them imperfect. Make them have their natural quirks, or their own defined feeling, their own defined personalities. That is what makes your character your character. Do we understand this? And have we covered enough today? Are we ready to create amazing characters now? Are we ready to create amazing characters now? Are we ready to get our books signed? I want to hear who's still here, If you're here, you've not clicked the thumbs up at the top of the screen, please do that. We're wrapping up. If you still have questions, this is the time to ask. In the next 3 minutes, I'm closing this chat. In the next 3 minutes, I'm closing the chat. So if you have a question, please ask now. If you have a contribution, or anything else you want to add, please do that now. Do that now. We're closing this. Even when you are done with this class, you can always come back and watch this class, you guys. There is a replay here. There is a replay on this particular chat, on this particular channel. You can always watch it, rewatch it, replay it to catch up on things that you have forgotten. Okay? Because, we have spent 2 hours talking here, but you might not remember everything, that we have talked about. So your duty is to always come back. These resources are open source. They are open here on this channel. So if you miss any part, or probably you have forgotten about something, you want to remind yourself, come back to this video, click it and watch, right? And remind yourself. That is why we did this today. So I hope you have gotten value from today's class. I hope everything sinks well. I hope you go ahead and write the best amazing stories with the most interesting characters out there. I'm looking forward to hearing your testimonies about how your books were signed. Okay. Thank you so much, everyone, for being part of today's class. Thank you. I say thank you to all of you. I'll see you again when we need to have another class. All right. Bye, everybody.